phone. People forget their kids in their car, but they never forget their phone. And we're going to learn how to use this in a way that will also enhance our life, also give us self-esteem. People from courses, participants from courses before this one have written to me how they taught their grandchildren things that they had no idea about in their phone after the course. Ruth, welcome. Racheli, everyone else that opened their camera, Avital. So my name is Ariel, and we're going to dive into a few subjects in this course. Some of it will be the general settings in the iPhone. Some will be in certain apps. Today, we're going to start with WhatsApp. For those of you who do not have WhatsApp, in a later class in this course, we're going to go and learn a bit about the App Store, how we download apps there, what are the best apps that to download, and how to set them up on our home screen. We're going to talk about 2 ways how to save important messages in WhatsApp. And at the end of the class, it's going to be the most critical tip and something that we've never taught in any of the courses up till now. That will be at the end, something to do with general settings in iPhone, which I'm sure that a lot of you will be using, especially if you go on trips abroad to different countries, Canada, Mexico, Europe, cruises and whatnot. It'll be very useful. So we're going to go dive right into WhatsApp, and the title for the class is How Do We Save Important Messages That We Receive in WhatsApp? Right? I think that each one of us who uses WhatsApp has a problem that someone sends us an important message and we lose track of it. Why? Because we keep talking to that person and then we have to scroll up to find the message and it gets lost in the mix. And today I want to talk about 2 ways how we could take those messages, put them in an organized fashion, and always have a point of reference that will be easy to get to them. So the first way that we save a message that we want to save, does everyone hear me okay? Everything's okay? Fantastic. Okay, thank you so much. See some friendly faces here from last time. And again, it's the last time I say, anyone who wants to open up their camera is more than invited, or we can see everyone. So the first way is called to star a message. It's the more common way, the more known way to save a message in WhatsApp. What we want to do is when we see a message that we like, we star it. Hi, Levana, welcome, Margalit. We store that message in a certain attic that's called the starred attic. And I'm going to show you on my phone exactly how it looks. I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to go into my WhatsApp and show you a message that I have that I want to save. So I sent myself a message a while ago. And as you could see, when I use my screen, you're going to see a mouse. It has a red cursor that goes around, and that's how you'll see where I am. And I'm going to go to the bottom of the phone, and over here on the left is my WhatsApp. How is my WhatsApp there that I could move my phone, my home screen to the sides, and the WhatsApp stays there? We're going to talk in a later class what is the best way and how to set up our home screen and put different apps in different files and make it the most user-friendly that we can. So I'm going to go into WhatsApp, which is in the bottom bar of the iPhone, and I'm going to press on it, and I'm going to go in, and I see this is a message that I received, which is a very important message. It's the links to get into this course. By the way, it's going to be the same links each time, so you don't have to wait for us to send you the email or wait for us to send you the WhatsApp message. This is going to be our link for 4 weeks at the same time each Sunday. So let's say I want to save this message. I won't have to keep looking for it in the group. So what I could do is, okay, did you see what happened? Something popped up. How did that happen? I'm going to go back a step. You see I'm holding the phone. The message is on it. I take my finger and I press on the message anywhere that's not blue. Why? Because if I press on the blue, I might open up a link, and that's not what I want to do. So I want to press anywhere on the white message with my finger. for at least 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. And then a few options come up. On the top, I have what's called the reactions. I could react to this message. Let's say someone sent me a message that I like. I could react and send a heart, and then he sees that I sent a heart. We're going to talk about reactions, emojis. It's a whole language that we're going to dedicate a class to further down the course. But right now, we're going to look at the bottom. If you see where my mouse is, at the bottom, I'm actually going to move my photo. You don't need to see that. At the bottom here, you're going to see that it says star, reply, forward, copy, report, rate, delete. What I want to do is I want to star this message. So I'm going to press star. And as you could, if you see right next to the 4:34 p.m. where it says what time I've sent the message, a star appeared. That means that it worked. If it didn't work, it means that you didn't press it in the exact spot. You might have pressed something else. That's the way that you know the confirmation that it is starred. Now, next week, I'm already going to be sending you different messages. I'm going to be sending you the recording for this class, and maybe I'm going to send you another tip that will take a minute to film, and you want to find this message quickly. How do we find this message quickly? So I go back. How do I go back? On the top left, there's an arrow that goes back, and I get to the main room of the WhatsApp. On the bottom bar of the WhatsApp, there's different rooms. There's the settings room, there's the chats, camera, calls, status. Today, we're going to be focusing on the chats and on the settings. And if I go to the settings, okay, I just press on the settings. From the chats to the settings, you could see that there's the first option on the settings is starred messages. So I press on starred messages, and my message is right here. Okay, I don't have any more starred messages, but any other starred messages that I want will be here. Now, before we go to the second way, we're also going to learn how to take off a star. What does that mean? In a month, this course is going to end. We might have a new course. There might be a new link, but this message is not relevant anymore. You don't want it to take up space in your inventory and your starred messages because it becomes clutter and it gets lost in all the mix of the messages you do want to save. So what we could do here is the same exact thing that we did before. I take my finger, I press on the message. It could be the message that you see when you go into starred messages. It could be the message, the original message that was sent by the contact. Both are fine. You press the exact same spot on the text anywhere but the blue link, if there's any links. You press with your finger for over 3 seconds. And now, if you could see on the bottom, there's a different option that showed up that didn't show up before, which is called unstar. Now we could take it out of there because the course is over and I don't want it to be there. Okay, so I'm going to press on unstar. And the starred messages now are only old messages that have starred. These are all messages that have starred. You see, when you arrive, the code is 8545, 7th floor, first door to your left. See you next month. This was an Airbnb message that I wanted to star. It was of an old vacation. Now I could press on that message and do the same thing. I could unstar it. I could delete it completely. But the moment I unstar it, it leaves. Someone sent me a recipe a while ago, a stick of butter, large bananas. This was for banana bread. I wanted to save the recipe. So I saved it under a starred message, and this is where I could find it. I go into WhatsApp. I go into settings. I go into starred messages, and I search it. Now, one moment. Okay. The good news about that is that that's the easier way and more common way to save a message in WhatsApp. Some of you might have even known it. The thing is that it's not ideal because we have a lot of messages that we want to keep. And then the starred messages, becomes a clutter of many messages. And even when we go into the starred messages, it's hard for us to find the exact message that we're looking for. So I'll go over quickly, not demonstrate, but go over quickly how we start a message. And then we're going to go over to the second way, how we save important messages in WhatsApp. So the first way that we just saw a demonstration is that when we receive a message from a contact, we press on the message for more than 3 seconds with our finger. And when the option appears in the menu, we press star. Once we press star, that message could be found in 2 places. One is when we go into the contact itself in WhatsApp, in the chat room, we're still going to see that message. The only difference is at the bottom of the message where it says the time it was received, we're going to see a little gray star. The second place we're going to see the message is in the settings room under starred messages. And we're going to see it as if it was the most recent starred message, we're going to see it first. If not, we're going to have to scroll. Now, let's say, for example, that we love to bake. We love to bake and we get a lot of recipes. Now, if we keep sending recipes to the starred messages, it's going to be difficult for us to find the exact message that we want to look for. So one option is in the starred messages, you could scroll up and there's a search bar. If you know a certain word that you're looking for, let's say banana bread, you could search banana, and within the starred messages, it's going to search for banana bread. You're looking for the Airbnb message, and you remember that Tom sent it, you could search Tom, and it's going to filter all the messages within the starred messages that has the word Tom. So that's an option to find a message as easy as possible within the first option that we're talking about, how to save a message in WhatsApp through the starred messages. The second option is that if we have a subject that we're heavily invested in, and we have a lot of important messages in a specific subject, we might want to consider creating a group with ourselves. Now, WhatsApp doesn't allow us to create a group with ourselves, so we're going to have to learn how we could overcome that challenge. And once we overcome that challenge and open up a group with ourselves, we could call that group's name in a name that fits the messages that we want to save. For example, if we're still going to go with the same example of baking, we could save that as Marjorie's recipes. Marjorie sends us these fantastic recipes. We're going to call a group Marjorie's recipes. And then when Marjorie sends us a recipe, we're going to move that message and we're going to copy it from her to that group. And that's where we could always find her recipes. And we're going to show a demonstration now exactly how that looks. So I'm going to share my screen again. And we're going to open a group in WhatsApp with ourselves. Okay, so let's take a look. Fantastic. So I'm going again with my mouse, you could see on the bottom to WhatsApp. And this is the starred messages. How do I get out of here? I go to the left arrow on the top. And I go into chats. Chats on the bottom, that's the room of all the chats of all my contacts. And now I have 2 options here under chats. One is called new group and one is called broadcast list. Broadcast list is something that we might talk about later on in the course. It's something that we barely need to use unless maybe we're a business or we run an online community and we have a lot of people that we have to broadcast one message to. But now we're going to focus on new groups. So we're going to open a new group. And I need to add a participant. Why? Because you see that the next button is in gray. It won't allow me to move without choosing at least one participant. So keep in mind that this participant, you're soon going to be removing from the group. That person might be a bit offended that you added them to a group and then you remove them from a group. So it's good to make sure that it's someone that knows that you're doing this or that doesn't mind that you're using their number for this exercise. So I'm going to use, let's see if my number is saved in here. Let's see. Okay, my number in Hebrew, but you see the B, that's my number, my personal number. So I'm going to press it, and the moment I press it, you could see that the next button is going to turn blue. That means it allows me to create the group. So I'm going to go and I'm going to press next. And the group subject is going to be, let's say, I have a lot of messages coming in around my next vacation to the south of France. The Airbnb host, the people that we're meeting there. I might have a business meeting as well. I need to show a presentation. There's all these different messages from different people coming into my phone, and I want to organize them into one place so it'll be easy to reference them later. So I'm going to call it South, let's do just an S, Spain, let's do Spain, trip, important. Okay, and what picture we're going to use? We're not going to use a picture. Now, disappearing messages, off. We don't want these messages to disappear. We want them to stay there. That's the point of this group. So we're not going to touch that feature that we see. And we're going to go to create. Okay, Spain trip, important. Now we have a new group. Where do we find this group? I'm going to go back. And we find it in the chats. Okay, in the chats. And if we don't see it, as you see, it's over here. But if we don't see it, we could always scroll up, find the search bar, and search Spain. We search Spain, and the group appears. We're going to go in the group. We're going to press on the title of the group. And we see that there's two participants here. Okay, over here, I don't know if you, yes, you could see that there's two participants. Now, I'm going to scroll down, and you see that me and someone else. And I added this person just because I want to open this group. He doesn't want to hear about my trip to Spain. He has to work full-time and overtime, and he doesn't want to see pictures, and he doesn't want to hear about the code for the Airbnb, and he doesn't want to get documents or the presentation they have to give for work, or the car rental area, or the dock that we're going to dock from the cruise. He doesn't want to hear any of it. We just used his number so we could open up this group. So we have to kick him out. Okay, so this is the good time to remember that if we didn't let him know that we're doing this, or let her know, we have to let them know that we're going to be kicking them out of a group so they won't get offended. So I'm going to press on the person that we want to kick out, and I'm going to remove from the group. Okay, no, please note, this person is going to get a notification that he was added to a group and a notification that he was removed from a group. Okay, so I'm going to press remove from a group. Obviously, this is my other personal number, so I'm okay with me removing myself from the group. But whoever you choose, make sure they're okay. So remove from the group, they're going to ask me again, are you sure? Remove, yes. And now I'm left alone in my group to Spain. And in this group, I'm going to send all the messages, everything that's important, to this exact group. How do we do that? Let's take a look. We're going to go up. Let's scroll up with my finger because the mouse is okay. Okay. We're going to go up. We're going to go back. We're going to go back. We're going to press X because right now it's searching for groups that have the word Spain in them. And we're going to press cancel. And now we're back with the chats. Okay, you're all going to get this recording. So you could take a look as well, but it's also good to pay attention while we're doing it, and we'll do it one more time as well if we need to. I know we're moving a bit quickly for some of you, but we're gonna try and do it again. Okay, so sorry about that. Okay, so as you could see, this is my group. Now, let's say, for example, that I got a message from I got a message here. Someone, one of my contacts that I saved them as London Trip. He's my Airbnb host. I sent him a question, and I wanted to get a link about certain attractions in London. Assuming this is my Spain trip, so we'll say it's in Spain. So I have this link that he sent me, but we're going to be talking a lot. But I want this link. I liked what I saw in this link. I like the attractions he sent me. I like the information that was there. I wanted to have it referenced. And I'm afraid that if I sent it to my starred messages, it's going to get lost in the mix. So, but I'm also afraid that if I don't send it anywhere, he's going to keep talking to me about different things about Spain. And once I want to find this message, it's going to be difficult for me because I'm going to have to scroll up and start searching for it. What could I do? So I'm going to go back and I'm going to see London Trip. Now, if I press on the actual, this is actually a group. So I'll give you an example that's not a group. These are when I'm not teaching, I'm a paramedic. I work around the world, flying around the world, taking critical patients. Okay, so this is a recipe that I want to bake with my family in Spain. And I want to send this message to the group I made of important messages in Spain. What I need to do is very similar to what I did before. Remember that before you take your finger and you press 3 seconds on the message and then this appears? Same thing. We take our finger, we press on the message for 3 seconds, and then these menus appear. But this time we're not going to press star. We're not going to press reply. We're going to press forward. Okay, forward. And which means we're going to keep the message here, but we're going to copy it and paste it. We're going to copy and move it somewhere else. So I'm going to press forward. And I have this little blue check that appeared. After this blue check appeared, I go down to this arrow, okay? Blue check, I go down to this arrow. And I press the blue arrow and it asks me, where do I want to move this message? Where do I want to copy it to? So I look and I see Spain trip important. That's where. But let's say that I don't find my group that I want to move it to. So I go to search. And in the search bar, I press Spain. There it is. So I press on Spain trip important, and I have that blue check that appears. And on the bottom right, I press, on the bottom right, I press forward. It's almost the bottom right, it's the middle of the screen. I press forward. And now the message was copied and pasted into Spain trip important. Now, within a group or within a contact, we could also search for messages and find important messages. So that's how we could narrow down even further. We could search for a message. We'll search for banana, and it brings me to the wanted message. So the ways that we could narrow down important messages, and I'm going to go a little bit backwards to just go over things before we go into the next stage, and we'll have a glass of water and we'll take a breather, is the first way that we talked about. If you're writing down, you could build a little tree. The first way is to start a message. Within the starred messages, you could also scroll up and search. You don't have to scroll through all the starred messages to find the exact message. That's one very practical way to save important messages. The second way is to create a group with a certain subject. It's about your trip, it's about your work, it's about baking, it's about a hobby, it's about, I have one about meeting up with a friend for squash games, because we talk a lot and sometimes we talk about meeting up and we lose track of who's paying for which court, who booked the court, and we use that as well as until the booking is final. We put it on our calendar. We have a group for that. Me and my partner who runs these courses, we have a group for certain things that we need to deal with, and that group is only dedicated to those things. And how do we utilize this group? We go into the chat room in WhatsApp. We press on new group. We choose a contact to add to this group that we're soon going to remove. We press on next. We choose a name for the group. We create the group. We go into the title of the group. We scroll down. We find the contact that has to get out of here. We press on him. We remove the contact. And now we're alone in our own group that's dedicated for a certain subject. And any message that comes in that subject, we take our finger, we press on the message for 3 seconds, we forward that message. It doesn't mean it's going to leave that contact. It means it's going to get copied and pasted in the group. So we forward it and we choose the group's name that we want to, and then we press OK, as we saw, and you'll also have the recording to see for yourself. So before we go into the next stage, the chat is open. If you want to write if it was clear, if it was too fast, if it was too slow, if you want to have a sip of water, I brought iced coffee, so I'm going to have a sip. And in a minute, we're going to go into the next subject, something that we've never taught in any of our courses, which has to do how can we help someone who doesn't have connectivity to internet abroad through our phone, or how could we give internet to another person or to our computer when we have it and others do not. Okay, so the chat is open. In 30 seconds, we'll let everyone drink. If anyone needs a small break. I didn't find the star, Ruth. Okay, let's see, Ruth. Okay, can you turn on your microphone?
Yeah, hi.
Okay, do you have an iPhone?
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. So, I'm not sure that's an iPhone.
Wait a minute. I've got an iPhone course for you. I'll just show you. Hold on.
I'm not sure it's an iPhone, but I think that if you go into WhatsApp and press on the message for a long time on your phone, it should be on the top bar. You'll see a sign of a star.
Nothing. There's nothing there.
When you press on the message for more than 3 seconds.
Right at the very top, you mean?
At the very top, exactly. There's a star there, and then the way to get to that star later is you go back into the main room of the chats.
Right. Okay, I didn't see that. Okay.
Okay, yeah, because that's an Android, so it's a bit different. So I'll try once in a while maybe to reference it, but it's mainly going to be about the iPhone. So I apologize if it's not 100%, but I will try my best.
Thank you.
How can I extend the picture on the screen? It's very small. We're going to try and get to that as well. Okay, perfect. So let me set up our next subject. Okay, So the next thing that we're going to do is something that's called, and it's a new subject if you're writing down, it's called a hotspot. Hey, I don't know if you ever heard someone from a younger generation asked to be hotspotted or to turn on a hotspot or asked you if you have a hotspot. What is a hotspot? A hotspot is a router. What is a router? A router is something that could distribute internet. We want something that could distribute internet. The hotspot distributes internet. The router distributes internet. We need internet. It gets distributed by the router, by the hotspot. We have an option on our phone, an amazing, amazing, amazing option to create our hotspot through our phone. And the title is, how do we give internet through our phone, using our phone? Okay, so we're gonna do a demonstration in a minute, but we're going to talk about what this means. This means that if you are now buying a package to have Wi-Fi abroad in a cruise or in another country, and your partner, your friend, someone in distress does not have internet on their phone, you could turn on a setting in your phone that will allow them to use internet from your phone, to use it for their WhatsApp, for their email, for Skype, for Zoom, for anything that needs internet. Obviously not regular phone calls, that's something else, but anything that needs internet. Another scenario, you're using your laptop. You're at a place that does not have Wi-Fi, but you need internet on your laptop. You could use your phone to distribute internet to your laptop. Now let's see how to do it. So, let me see. Okay. So what needs to be done is that what you want to go, let me show you then the picture here. Does everyone see this picture? Personal hotspot. Take a look in your settings. If you have that option, to have a personal hotspot. If you don't, write to me in the chat. If you don't, write to me in the chat. Okay? Now, what needs to be done for a personal hotspot to work? A few things. Number one, your Wi-Fi needs to be off. Your Wi-Fi needs to be off. Why? Because the phone doesn't allow you to take internet from a Wi-Fi router and distribute it to another device. Okay, you cannot take from a router and distribute to another device. You have to go into settings and disable Wi-Fi. How do we disable Wi-Fi? We go into settings. Let's see it over here. We'll go into Zoom. Okay, so we'll go into, sorry. See that it's frozen for a moment. Okay, 1 second, sorry about that. I'll get my phone out of frozen mode and we'll continue. You go into settings. I'll dictate it until the phone gets back to working mode. Go into settings, Wi-Fi, and I toggle it off. Okay, to make a hotspot. Then you toggle down, and under cellular, you're going to have an option for personal hotspot. It looks like this. Does everyone see it on their iPhone? Okay. After pressing the personal hotspot, we'll go and give it closer. The personal hotspot, you're going to go into it and you're going to allow others to join. Okay, you're going to allow others to join and you're going to toggle that on. This Wi-Fi password is a password that you decide. That means that when someone sees your hotspot, they're going to ask you, what is the password? You could decide what the password is. You press on this option and you have an option to choose and dictate your password. You could change it at any time, but this will be the password that someone else could use, so no one will hack into your internet. Let's say you're the one who wants to use it in your personal computer. And if you're the one who wants to use it on your personal computer, then what you could do is you decide this code. You're the only one who knows it. You open your computer, you search for a certain Wi-Fi network. You get to your phone and you put in the code. Show you in a minute how it looks on my computer when I choose that option as well. Now, family sharing, share personal hotspots with member of the family. I wouldn't choose this, and I wouldn't choose maximize compatibility. Internet performance may be reduced for devices connected to your hotspot when turned on. I wouldn't choose this because it might drain your internet. Now, there's a few things before we go in that are very important to say. One, does this take internet out of your plan? Yes. Meaning if you bought a 20 gigabyte plan, a 50 gigabyte plan, and if anyone here has under 50 gigabytes a month, that's 50 GB when you see your bill. And if you don't see your bill, you should take a look at your bill because this is the exact population that the cell phone company likes to lowball in the plans, but make it very expensive. So you should make sure that you have at least 50 gigabytes GB when you're buying your plan, and if not, you should upgrade and make sure that you're not overpaying. Make sure someone's looking at your cell phone bill and making sure that you're paying a normal price for today's plans. Today's plans has gone down drastically. I mean, I'm not very old, but when I was a kid, cell phone bill could be $200 when it was expensive, and you pay per minute and per message. And today it shouldn't be more than 30 bucks, maybe. Pretty much across the board in every country. I know I used to live in Canada and work there as a paramedic, and I know that there it's still a bit more expensive. But in the States, London, Tel Aviv, that's pretty much the prices you should be paying. So make sure that that's what you're paying, and that you're getting enough internet, and that you also know, and we're going to learn how we could take a look at our cellular data, meaning how much we've used out of our cellular data every month, which is a critical measurement to know that we don't overdo it, especially if we become blocked, if we get to our limit, or if we get overcharged. Those are two options when we get to a limit with our cell phone plan. We get overcharged because we pass the limit, and then it becomes another line on our bottom line bill, or that we get blocked suddenly and we're abroad and we don't have internet that we need immediately. So make sure that you're on the same page with that, especially when we're using a hotspot, because when we use a hotspot, we're now allowing another device to utilize our plan, to take away from the internet that we bought. So obviously we can't be as generous as we'd like. We can't open up a hotspot in the middle of Times Square and let everyone connect free of charge without password, but if we need to, we could do it. And if we need it, we know how to turn to someone and ask for that favor. I was once in India. I was taken into I was asked to go to India. There was I work for an Israeli repatriation company for the insurance, that each time there's an Israeli that's injured abroad and he needs to be taken back in a medical flight, could be even ventilated, then I go with a team with equipment and we fly there and we assess and we take him back on a private plane or an air ambulance or a commercial flight. And I flew to India and it was a last minute flight and they only figured out my visa when I was in the air and there was no internet on the plane. And when I landed, I found out that in Mumbai, there's no internet that you could connect to. It's very odd. Unless you have a local number, there's something there that doesn't allow you to connect to free internet. And I went to the border control and they said I have to have a visa. And I said, look, my visa's in my email, but I can't access my email because you don't have internet here. And they wouldn't hear of it. And they told me, go to the site until you figure it out. And I was walking around and finally I stopped one of the cleaners of the airport. And I just got down on my knees. I told him, I need you to hotspot me. I'll pay you money. And that's what he did. He hotspotted me and he showed me the code and I got into to my email and I got the visa and I actually made my connection to Kozhikode, if anyone knows that area in India, a very nice area. And we made the flight and it's so useful. It's so useful. And just to know that you have the ability to share the internet with someone else, or that if you're ever in need, you know what to ask for, is a fantastic thing. Today, we don't have a lot of time because I know from other classes that we try to keep it within 45 minutes of a class before people start losing it. So next time we are going to start with a short demonstration on the phone, exactly how it looks step by step. We're going to show you how we could dictate the name of the network, which is also very critical. Meaning we could decide if it's going to say Maria's iPhone, Victor's iPhone, Ellie's iPhone. If you ever opened up your Wi-Fi and you've seen those names, you see suddenly people around you, Dr. Danya's iPhone, CP's iPhone. If you see that on the list, we're going to learn how to do that. We're going to dictate our own password. Now, one thing that is very important that we're going to learn already today is how we monitor the amount of internet that we've been using. So, have a look. Let me go in and share my phone. Let's see if this works this time. Okay. Fantastic. So, as you could see, I go into settings and I go into cellular. Okay, I go into cellular. And for some reason, it's moving a bit slow today. You're going to have to excuse it. And over here, take a look, cellular data, current period, 481 megabytes. That's very low because I barely use this phone. This phone is just used for the courses that we do, and I barely use it. But if you look, you're gonna be, I hope, pleasantly surprised that you don't use it a lot, and I hope that you're not going to find out that you're overcharged. Sorry about that. I'm just going to open that, something we're going to talk about later on. Okay. So when you look down here, you could decide on your cellular data, if you could scroll down on your phone, what apps you allow to use your data. Some apps we don't even know are sucking out data, sucking out internet without doing a thing, just because they're running in the background. So homework for today, is to look at this list and make sure that we recognize each app and we are allowing each app to utilize our internet. Okay, I have here the news. I don't know if I need the news, if I use it anymore. I'm not sure the wallet app I use anymore, and it's using 3.1 megabytes out of my monthly allowance, and I don't want that. I don't know if I use this mail because I have Gmail. Weather I use, Maps I use, Health I use, Stocks I use, Reminders I don't use that app anymore. Shortcuts I use, and you could just press on the toggle green button on the right and shut it down and shut it down. And then current period on the top, you have always a look. Let's see, we'll get it up there. Perfect. You always have a look how much you've been using for your current plan. And the next time we're going to meet, and we're going to start with quite amazing things about YouTube. And a lot of you know how to use YouTube, but we're going to learn about your YouTube. Your YouTube is going to be your channel, your legacy, how you could upload videos of yourself to YouTube, how you could save videos that you like into playlists that only you have later in YouTube. What is YouTube Premium? Meaning all those ads that we see in YouTube, how much does it actually cost a month to get rid of? And it's going to be things, that's one of the favorite classes, each course that we do. It's about YouTube. At the beginning, we're going to show a demonstration. I don't want it to be too much today about how we exactly go through the process of creating a hotspot on our phone. And then we're going to deep dive into YouTube. The recording is going to be sent every week until before Thursday. And I'm going to try for it to be sent much earlier. It's going to be sent also in an email and also in the group. And everyone's welcome to sign up to the email list if it's easier for them to get the link in the email. The link will always be sent, but it's always the same link. So you could always use an old link. We're going to finish today. So it'll be a bit of an easy way into the course. We started with WhatsApp to learn how to save important messages. We then went to touch upon a subject that we're going to begin with next class, which is creating a hotspot. What is a hotspot? And creating a hotspot within our phone. It's important lingo to get familiarized with when people turn to us, when we turn to our kids, to our grandkids. It's something that people use today, and it's very important to be on top of it, and even better than on top of it, to teach. And people come to you, and your kids and your grandchildren will come to you to learn how, and we're going to learn later on what to do when our phone is lost, and so many different things that we could do with our iPhone that could help us also in times of need and also in our day-to-day life. So we're going to end with a song like we started. If you want to write in the chat a song that you like, so I'll know for next time to begin with it. And you're welcome to write in the chat how it was, and if it was too fast or too slow, and if Gaby, I see you didn't receive the link in the email, so please go in the group, search for the link to sign up for the email list. I need you to sign up for the email list, and if you did, sign up again and make sure you wrote the correct email list. And if anyone has anything to say, I'll be happy to turn on their microphone. You're more than welcome. And thank you so much, everyone, for coming and opening your camera and putting the time. It's so nice to see everyone each time again. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hey, thank you, Yaakov. Thank you, Kiki. And wait. Yes, yeah, we're gonna send the recording. Ruth, can you do the course without an iPhone? We don't think so. It's gonna be mainly an iPhone. It's very different than an Android. Don't forget to turn Wi-Fi on again next time, because that's true. Okay, thank you. Anyone who wants to stay, I'll open your microphone. I'm happy to hear any questions. And Miriam.
Yes, I have cellular data current period, 81 giga. I don't know since when. So how can I calculate if I'm going abroad or something like that?
Okay, what company are you in? Which are you using?
Partner.
I check first with your, do you know where you get your bill? It comes to your email?
Yes.
I'd suggest if you could look at your bill and make sure there's a correlation between the two. Do you know how much gigabyte you're allowed to a month?
I know, I think 81 giga, it's for years, I think. I'm not using so much. Maybe, I don't remember how much I'm allowed, but I'm not using much of this. So I don't know, how can I calculate if I'm going abroad and buying some package of internet and how much I have used?
Okay, good question. Next class, we're going to start with that. We're going to say how we could set the cycle. Okay, how we could set the date so your cycle will match your period on your bill. But if you could check when your period is on your bill, so we could also check it in real time.
Okay, I'll do it.
Okay, fantastic.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. 1 minute. Yes, Ruth, let's open up your microphone.
Yeah, sorry. I can't see myself on here. This Andro, you don't think I'm going to be able to follow with because some of the things I can't find on here. I mean, how hard is it going to be?
It's going to be tough. We have an Android course. It's our main course. We started it last night. There was over 3,000 people.
Couldn't get on it now.
You couldn't get on because you went through the Zoom. But the YouTube.
I don't know how to do it on YouTube. I didn't know how to do it.
So the YouTube is very simple.
It doesn't work on my thing. It comes up a message and it doesn't work on my phone.
What message comes up?
I think I wrote it yesterday. I'll tell you what message comes up.
Mm-hmm.
1 second. I'll find it.
Okay, Judy, you'll be next. Anyone else?
It just says I can't find it at the moment. It says just can't come up the message, and that's it. The YouTube is like stopped. Not stopped, it's just, where is it? I'm trying to, here, wait a minute. Here we are. Yeah, I'll tell you what it says. I tried to get. Yeah, the voice. Oh, and now it says the video has been removed by the uploader. This is a different message it's got on there now.
Okay,
This is
so
from
you
last
see
night.
what,
From last night. It says the video's been last night. It said you couldn't get in. Now it says the video's been removed by the uploader.
okay, if it says the video has been removed, it's because the link only works while the class is in session. But that means that the link works. It points you in the right direction.
But it didn't work last night. It just says it can't. It's mislaid. It can't be. It's mislaid or something like that. It said. I couldn't
If you
get in
want,
at all.
okay,
Not in the YouTube and not in there.
if you want, you were using the WhatsApp with the with our team member, right? To tell him that you had an issue.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay, so try. Are you joining tomorrow night?
I'll try. Yeah.
Okay,
I'll
if
try and get in
you
a bit
are,
early.
try to come early, 15 minutes before. Write to me that this message needs to get to Ariel, so they'll know to right away give it to me, and I'll connect you. We'll do a Zoom together. I'll be on the phone, and we'll make it work. We'll make it work because that's the right course for you. Because this is iPhone. It's very. That's why we did this, because in the Android we have. Last night we had over 3,000 people. It's a whole different world, the Android, and that's what we decided to start an iPhone course, because it's a bit of a different world. We bought an iPhone.
What's the difference between iPhone and Android? What's the difference?
The user experience, it looks different. It's different buttons. Even if it's the same app, it's built differently. Exactly like you asked where the star is and where to find the starred messages. It's just different, and it'll be hard for you to follow. And it'll be much easier to follow if you're in that course. I'm happy for you to stay, but it's worth it to keep that in mind. Even if we learn next week about YouTube in iPhone is different than YouTube in Android, and how it looks. When we talk about uploading a video or creating a playlist for ourselves or YouTube Premium, it's a different world.
Okay. Thank you very much for your help.
Happily. Judy, please.
Thank you, Ariel. Ariel, it's not really related. I have my main iPhone since last year. The iPhone is my main phone, but all the WhatsApp is on my Android. And since Corona started and I'm at home, also retired, I have a lot of stuff on the WhatsApp, which is important to me. And once I transfer it to the iPhone, I'm losing it all. Is there a way or an easy way that you can find and help me? I don't want to take your time now, but I will appreciate if there is something that I can do. I tried here, but
okay.
They don't talk to each other.
Unfortunately, I can't help do it, but I will tell you that WhatsApp did release a few months ago a way that you know how to back up your messages.
Well, since I exceeded my Google, it's not backed up anymore. I know I'm getting a message on my photos. Like hundreds of photos.
First thing, that's an important subject that we're going to learn about. How we extend our Google Drive, Google Gmail, Google Drive, Google Photos, or how to use it and how to extend the storage there. We're going to learn in this course how to do. It's a very important subject. I will tell you this. Up till a few months ago, it was not possible to move your old messages from a WhatsApp number from an Android to an iPhone and vice versa. For the past few months, a few months ago, WhatsApp did a modification, and it is possible, meaning you could take the messages from an Android on the same number and move them to your iPhone. I can't explain the whole route now, but you can go to a store that you trust near your house, because it is possible. It is
like an Apple store,
Apple store or a phone store of someone that you know is reliable. If you don't know of someone, I know of someone. It's not me. I just know of someone that goes to people's houses and helps them with personal problems. I know of a company that gives personal help online, but they charge money. It's not me, but I know that they're reliable. So if you want to write to me, or in the email you received, you could reply, or in the WhatsApp number, and I could point you in the right direction. But I will say that once it was not possible, now it is possible.
Even in the United States, because I know it was possible in Israel, but
No, it's possible across the board.
everywhere
from
across the
Android
board.
to iPhone. They did an iOS and
Okay.
Android collaboration that you could now move it. If you have an iPhone and you had an Android, it's possible, but you
Good.
will need external help.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Happily, happily.
Okay.
Victor, please.
Thank you. Thank you.
Please.
Hi, when we were doing the personal hotspot, you said to get off the Wi-Fi
Yes,
and then go into personal hotspot.
yes.
So when I went to personal hotspot, it gave me a message, Wi-Fi is off, personal hotspot will only be available over Bluetooth and USB. Do you also want to enable it over Wi-Fi? Turn on Wi-Fi or Bluetooth and USB only. You can see that here.
Okay, press turn on Wi-Fi. Tell me what it says.
Just went, like that message went off.
Message went off. Are you on a current on a phone plan or just on Wi-Fi?
On a phone plan.
Okay. It's hard for me from here to understand why, but I will say this. If you see that people can't connect, the most common reason is because your Wi-Fi is on. If you see people could connect, and I urge you to try this after the class, if you have a laptop or another phone, to see if that laptop or phone recognizes that network and could connect, like really connect and go into a website and see that it turns on. If it connects, fantastic. If it doesn't, the most common reason is because the Wi-Fi is on and that's what's blocking it.
Okay, so now as far as the password, I can choose whatever password. It can be two digits.
I think they force you to write at least 6 digits, if I'm not mistaken. It'll show you there once you go into password and you start typing. If you erase everything and start typing, the moment that that it's enough, it will give you the option to save that password. I think it needs to be at least 4 digits, if I'm not mistaken.
I see. Okay.
Okay, so please try it and see. And if there's an issue, the most common reason is because the Wi-Fi is still on. Usually the phone itself won't allow you to turn on the hotspot with the Wi-Fi still on. But if it did happen and for some reason people aren't detecting your network or managing to connect, that's probably the reason.
Okay. Thanks very much.
Okay, thank you, Victor. Miriam, please.
I checked my bill. I have 60 giga plan and I've hardly used 1 giga. So
Okay.
how can I calculate?
So first thing, I would go in that list I showed you, the list right under the monthly usage, and take a look at the apps, because under each app it says how much it's used in a cycle. Now cycles could be longer than a month, so we're going to talk about cycles.
Probably years, I think.
Right. So
80
we're going to talk about cycles and exactly ways to figure out the exact usage later. Not later, beginning of next class. It's a great thing to know, to set the cycle with the dates that correlate to your bill. And that could be great if everyone could know the date that their bill starts and how much giga they have. So we could start that with the lesson right after we talk about the hotspot.
And if you buy a package, it should be some other account, not the same account which I'm using in Israel.
If you buy a package where?
If I'm going abroad.
Oh, it doesn't know how to detect the different package. It just knows how much the phone is using, unfortunately. If you're using it in different packages, then that's something that they don't know yet. But what you could do is that you could, we'll touch upon it next lesson. There's an app you could download that monitors certain dates, and then you know to take that down. Let's say you bought a package for 10 days abroad. You could say from this date to this date, how much did I use? And then take that amount off the monthly allowance.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else before we finish? Dr. Danya, okay, please. Yes, with the lovely photo from Boston.
Thank you. Actually, Victor said about that question. what happened later on, since you didn't answer, I just clicked back the Wi-Fi, and then I saw that it's still the personal hotspot was on. But since I'm not sure if I'm going to use it or not, so I turned it off in the meantime. And because I need to understand better about it, and before I am using anything like that. Now, the same thing, I'm not sure about the gigabytes that you are talking about, because there is the amount of gigabytes that you have that comes with your phone. In my case, it's 256, and I'm almost out of that because all my WhatsApp went from the old phone to this one. And so, what's the point with the how much the company gives you?
Okay, fantastic question. So there's a difference between the hard gigabytes and the soft gigabytes. Hard gigabytes is the memory of the phone itself. And that's something that when you buy a phone, each phone has a set number of gigabytes. It's 156, it's 250, it's 512, it's a terabyte, and that's a terabyte has 1,000 gigabytes, and that's a set number, and you can't save any more than that amount of gigabytes on your phone. It's apps, it's photos, it's videos that takes up space, actual space on your phone. The soft gigabytes is a plan that we buy from the cellular company, and that is basically each time we use an internet, we're using soft memory, meaning it's not actual memory on our phone, it's soft memory that's called megabytes, gigabytes. It's the same value, but it's different, meaning the gigabytes that we're using for data, it's not actual gigabytes on our phone, but it's space that we're using from the cellular company. We're paying them for that space. So it's two different subjects that don't talk to each other. One is the actual space on the phone that we save things on. The other is the data, the internet. And the internet, how they call it is by gigas. And usually in a normal month, we could use 5 to 10, depends how much, gigabytes of data. It has nothing to do with the data of the actual phone's memory. That's just how it's called. And when I said to look to see how much we have, we want to see how much the cellular company is giving us a month. And that's something that it says on your bill, and it's changeable. It says 30, you could pay more for 50, or maybe you're overpaying for 30, and in that price you could get 50, and you should check it out. And you should also check if they're overcharging you. Suddenly you pass the 30 gigabytes you paid for, or they're charging you for the extra data, or that you get blocked. So that's something that's good to look at. And we're going to touch upon that at the beginning of the next class before we dive into the main subject.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you, Danya, Dr. Danya. Anyone else? A question? Okay, well, thank you so much, everyone, for coming, for joining. We're going to get the recording out to you. We're going to meet at the same time. If you have friends that are interested, they're more than welcome to join. You could tell them to join the WhatsApp group. You could tell them to join the email list. And we'll